What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? The bearded one here, and today's I want to talk about the red pill. Men go it your own way, and all this stuff. You hear about it a lot. You're like, okay, men go your own way, be it red pill, blue pill, purple pill, whatever, man. But the point about red pill that is really important to know and note and be aware of is really the question of reality versus fantasy. It's a philosophy basically that says, look, guys, a lot of dudes are living in a false reality, living in a fantasy world where women and things follow a certain path of behavior that is not true as to what really happens. The reason you're having problems with women, the reason you're having problems with money, the reason you're having problems with the world is because your philosophy about how the world works is not in line of how the world really works. So you're doing A, but the world is actually B. You're basically living in a reality of your own. It's a fantasy, and that fantasy is why you are failing with money, with women, and all that, because you are trying to make the world work based on a fantasy version of how it works. So you're doing all the wrong things, basically, or you're not doing what you should be doing to get the results you're looking for. That's what the whole red pill thing is about versus the blue pill thing, which is more about guys who prefer to pretend things don't work the way they are and to focus on, let's say, putting women at the center of the universe or whatever. But the point about red pill is that you should really realize that what you've been taught by music, TV shows, books, and all that is fantasy. It ain't real. It ain't how things really work. I mean, geez, man, we dudes. I'm an R&B guy, so amongst other music, but R&B, man, you know how R&B has so much amazing things to say about love, and all these amazing ideas. You're the center of my world. Nothing matters more is more important to me than you, and oh my God, you are the best thing that's ever happened to me. I want to be with you forever, baby. Don't leave. Please choose me. I promise this. Listen, guys, and then you watch. Hold on that thought, and then you watch all these movies where these guys get flowers, balloons, and all these things for girls, and take girls out to all these amazing restaurants and all that kind of rubbish. That is where your problems are coming from, because the reality is that is not what women want, and no, that is not how women work. Women do not work that way. They work a completely different way from what music, movies, and all these books be telling you about. I remember reading an article. I don't know if it was a magazine. What magazine was that? I don't know if it was Elle or something like that. And the advice of the woman in the article was basically go for a man with money. That was a female magazine, a woman's magazine, a popular and very widely read magazine, giving advice to girls. Choose the money, girls. Forget love. Forget what he's like. Choose only if he's got money. And that's what the guys in the red pill community really are trying to say, is that, look, society says this is how women are supposed to be, and this is how they are like, this is how money works. But the reality is that's not how it works. For instance, right, they'll tell you that she's going to go for what you're like, and how sweet and innocent and nice and all that stuff, and how you treat her and how you prioritize her. The reality is women don't like that kind of guy. Women don't want a guy who prioritizes them like that, gives up his purpose, gives up what he's doing for them. Women really just want a guy who's confident in himself, a guy who's unpredictable, a guy who's masculine, yes, masculine, a guy who is sure of where he's going, and a man who's got value. Women want a guy where when you're doing something and she says the opposite, like let's say you are driving down the street and you say, oh, we turn left here. And she goes, how do you know we turn left here? And she wants you not to tell her feel like, why are you doubting that I know that we turn left here? She basically wants you to tell her, because I looked at the map and this is where we turn left, okay? She's testing whether you're certain about what you're doing, where you're going. It's another matter for another video discussion. But the point I want to get across to you guys is that all that other lovey-dovey nonsense is not what women are looking for. The reality is, red pill is just basically telling you that you got to take the world for what it really is. Forget about what you think the world is. Forget about what you were told the world was. Unfortunately, there's a lot of problems in how young men are raised. We're not told, or we were not told that, listen, this is how things really work. This is what really happens in the world, and you need to adjust yourself like this accordingly. Of course, there are many reasons why fathers, uncles, grandfathers didn't speak to young men about these issues. It could be because they were embarrassed to talk about the truth about women. They don't want to really tell you how they got with your grandmother and how they got with your mom's, and she was really dating some other dude and he started cheating with her, and then eventually she left that dude for him, and then they got married. He doesn't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to tell you that's how they hooked up, right? So there's a lot of reasons why parents don't tell their sons these things, but at the end of the day, you've got to know there is a reality of how things work that may not be what you think it is, and you need to accept that reality. That's the most important thing I want to get across about this red pill thing. It's not a hate of women. It's not an we don't like women. Women are terrible. They monsters. It's more a reality of saying, you know what? This is how women are. This is how they behave. This is how they do what they do. And we need to take that into consideration when we're approaching them with an aim, whether to have a companion, to have physical intimacy, to date these girls, or to marry them. You've got to understand this is their nature. This is what you should expect. Same thing for the real world of money, the real world of hustling and succeeding. There's a real way things get done that you need to take into consideration. And it's not going to change just because you feel a certain way. It ain't going to change. It's going to be what it is, and you've got to deal with it. You got to start considering that the world ain't going to change. You have to. So if you're not getting success with women, you need to change. If you're not getting success with money, you need to change. The world ain't going to change. The rules are written and the rules are as they are. That's what it is. You've got to change. Now, how do you change? Is by becoming, first of all, aware that the world is not the way I think it is. I must learn how it is. And the way you learn how it is by embracing the truth of it. And that's why the red pill, of course, from the Matrix, Morpheus giving Neo the option of the red or the blue pill. Blue pill, go back to sleep and wake up and face the world as it has been for you previously. Live in the fantasy that you've been living in. Nothing changes. Or red pill, and I show you the truth of what things really are like. What is really going on and how you can actually manipulate it or surf the wave to succeed. And that's what it's about. So when you hear red pill, blue pill, that's what they're talking about. That question of facing reality or hiding from it. When they talk about red pill, they're saying, listen, take power into your own hands, not only to see reality, but to also to, to interact with reality in a manner that is to your benefit. Not to always be the one getting his butt whooped by women, getting his butt whooped by business partners, getting the short end of life. You don't have to get the short end of life anymore. You can actually get everything you want to date. Girls that look like Naomi Campbell. You want to date girls that look like Eva Longoria. You want to date whatever, man. You want to own a Ferrari. You want to have a nice house. The truth is you got to learn the reality and how the reality works and figure out how to adjust it to your advantage, and that's how you get what you get. So when we talk about red pill, when I do mention it, or when we talk about this, somebody says, that guy is a red pill kind of guy. That's what we're talking about. We're dealing with the truth, not the lie. And that's the one thing you need to deal with if you want to win. So hopefully, maybe I rambled on a little bit, but hopefully you're getting the point of what I'm trying to get at about the red pill thing, and men go it your own way, which is a whole other thing. It has to do with men valuing themselves and believing that, you know what, there is life without women in it. That's the men go it your own way kind of philosophy. It's more, I don't have to have a woman to be happy. I don't have to have a woman to progress in life. In other words, behind every successful man isn't a woman. There's actually a man on his grind, working hard to make his life happy and successful. So you don't owe your success, shouldn't be holding on to a woman for success. But I'll talk about that in another video as to why you can't do that. But for now, I just want you to understand what red pill is and why it's important and how it's gonna be a foundational element of everything I talk about. And if you understand it and have gone around and look around at this issue, you'll better understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. All right, until next time, remember, always remember, do more, be more, become more in your purpose. All right.